we've got an exciting day planned out for you today. We're going to be talking about workflow automation for sales, for sales teams. We're working together today with our partner Velvettel, and we'll be joined by the Velvettel team for a couple of sessions today. So it's going to be very, very informative. So here is our agenda. We're going to be starting off with our thought leadership session, and then we'll move into a couple of customer cases, real life no-code experience, and a success story as well from our partners, Solution Metrics, and their customer Meda. We're also going to be having a no-code spotlight. We'll be joined by our solution engineer, Doug Gruber, who will be walking through a demonstration of our no-code tools. And then finally, we'll wrap up the day with our digital circle, and I'm joined by a very good group for our panel discussion this afternoon. So should be exciting. And as always, we'd like to thank our partners for participating in our event. So our event partners listed here are contributing to these events and ensuring that we're bringing that thought leadership and information to the larger audience. So I'd just like to say thank you to our event partners as well. And let's get started for day 9. Our first session, thought leadership session, is improving customer experience by adding omnichannel AI-powered intelligence within the contact center, utilizing no-code. We're joined today by Yuri Yushkov, CEO of Velvettel, and Artemy Firsov, team lead for AI and machine learning at Velvettel as well. Yuri, Artemy, I'll turn it over to you.
Welcome and thank you everyone for joining Velvettel's session. Today we will be discussing how to improve customer experience by using artificial intelligence and low-code within an omnichannel contact center at your company or your clients. Our experts in contact center solutions are standing by in a live Zoom meeting, and they look forward to your questions. So please go ahead and start asking your questions right away. This is Yuri Yushkov. I'm the CEO at Velvettel, and I have led this company since 2004. My professional career began over 25 years ago with banking software development and now progressed to creating software solutions and technology platforms for companies in many industries globally. I have my colleague with me today, Artemy Firsov, our team lead and project manager for contact center and AI solutions. He's in charge of the development and implementation of all speech recognition and call analytics projects at Velvettel. So why Velvettel is a leader in the area of contact centers? Since 2004, Velvettel has been on the cutting edge of IT solutions development. We worked with the top phone system platforms on the market globally, including RingCentral and 2600Hz. Besides, we worked with the top CRM software vendors. That includes Creatio, our leading CRM partner today. We are going to take a deep dive into how expertise in artificial intelligence and machine learning empowers operations of sales, marketing, and service. It's important to note that Velvettel delivers its services globally. We do so through our headquarters in Chicago and our centers of excellence in Central America and Eastern Europe. We have over 90 full-time experts who implement and support our software solutions and facilitate innovation and growth for our customers. I'm really excited to be talking about customer engagement and customer experience today. We see that customer experience is constantly evolving. Nowadays, consumers don't buy products, they buy experiences. So it can really be your main differentiator in the market. Customers will typically buy from the companies providing great experiences and bringing them value at every stage of their journey. That's why I'd like to focus on this area. As we continue to innovate with our clients and research further the critical role of artificial intelligence and machine learning, we have actually found out that augmenting the human capabilities in a contact center has 4 key pillars. These are the areas where companies can address challenges at their contact centers and where our technology provides new capabilities. First of all, it's connecting with customers through different digital channels. It happens during the client's buyer journey or when customers request for help. The idea is to let all of the agents grow to the level of top performance across the entire contact center. It refers to various cohorts of teams in terms of how long they have been employed at their contact center and what level of onboarding they have gone through. This is done by giving them the best tools that are scalable to different types of use cases. These tools manage the process across the day-to-day duties in the work of the contact center agent. At the same time, those tools have to be capable of bringing the highest level of process automation and managing the flow of interactions intelligently. This is where artificial intelligence and machine learning are based on the context of every single conversation. It makes conversations and interactions tailored to the individual needs of the customer or prospect in real time. And finally, when resource management is applied through artificial intelligence, the managers at the contact center are able to provide the best on-demand knowledge for their staff. And at this point, I think it's great to talk about particular tools that help address the four mentioned areas. So how the synergy of artificial intelligence and low code can help companies deliver exceptional customer experience? As we go through discovery meetings with our customers, we see that they may come with a somewhat different immediate needs. Some of them are being driven by their need for better agent coaching. Others would like to look deeper into the conversations to navigate through the workflow better and drive better outcomes. Or they just want to connect in real time with their customers and apply their knowledge in a better, more meaningful way. Through all of these customer needs, we see what unifies them. So obviously our business clients' intent is to reduce the cost. Their driving motive is also to speed up the processes of onboarding and coaching of other agents and to give them better tools that can leverage the new technology to be more fluent in the conversations with customers. Ultimately, they all want to achieve a more intelligent orchestration of operations. And this is where the low code is really an indispensable tool and capability where you master those processes and utilize artificial intelligence and machine learning to make them intelligent. And I'd like to illustrate that. I'd like to expand a little bit on one of the aspects of AI and machine learning. So why exactly speech analytics is so important and why that matters for contact centers? The solutions that we provide are deeply integrated, and speech analytics is like a gluing mechanism that allows for extracting information from unstructured data, such as calls and audio or text messaging. And using this approach and this technique, we can go to a lot of things. We can look into the data, which is collected through various every single conversation in the contact center. We can leverage this knowledge through the way we are analyzing the audio, and we can understand and capture emotions. On top of that, we can intelligently identify those customer interests and concerns that they express when they interact with the contact center agents. Artificial intelligence and machine learning combined through the platform together with the low code, where the processes kick in certain triggering based on the triggering events or on business rules. They let us provide the on-demand support, which is on time, and provide guidance to the agents when they are working on the call. And the results are huge. The improvements in the conversations mean that they can become shorter because your reps can get into the right points of the sale conversation through the optimum path, or they can just resolve the ticket faster. And the conversations with the most optimal outcomes become possible and even more meaningful. And the best way to illustrate that would be to show you one of the business cases that we prepared to share today. I would like to pass the microphone to Artemy and let him speak about that.
Thank you, Yuri, and hello, everyone. My name is Artemy, and today we'll tell you about the business case we had with one of our clients, and specifically, I'm talking about the DataGuard USA company. They are the document management company connecting individuals and business owners with local service providers to scan, store, and shred private information. They had about 10 operators in their call center. It is 1,000 to 1,500 calls a day, and they have the nice in contact as their telephony. So the biggest challenge that they have is that they have their call center set up. However, they didn't have this analytical data and this decision-making tool to provide even more insights to how their call center operates. So our biggest issue to solve was to give them a better understanding of their target audience, their needs, and how their call center operates. And so within our approach, first step was to start monitoring and recording the calls to get the audio data, which we can further transcribe to get the text data. And this text data can be fed into the AI solution, which can further learn from each call. And we can locate with this AI solution best practices and implement them within every operator of the call center. So having all that implemented and integrated into their pipeline, the DataGuard company can now not only listen to call recordings from like the Creatio CRM, however, they also can track different more advanced statistics like agent talk time versus customer talk time. Did the agent use phrases and words during the call which we expect them to use? Were they script adherent? And all these things can affect their scorecard. So we can introduce gamification to that process with our natural language processing we used on the text data. Of course, as we transcribe calls, we can visualize dialogues with appropriate timestamps and speaker identification. And all this information, all this data, coupled with Creatio advanced filtering feature and flexible dashboards that can be customized with Lowcode tool, gives the opportunity to identify best practices of certain operator that drives sales the most and propagate them to the entire call center to increase the efficiency of your call center. Thank you. Passing the microphone back to you, Yuri.
Thank you, Artemy. Before we dive deeper into our contact center solution, I would like to give you this visual of the architecture. Once again, I'd like to encourage everyone to think of your use cases now, how that may be applied to your particular scenario or people of your organization and your end customer. And please submit your questions and ideas to us right away using the Zoom chat option. So on the left-hand side, you can see the AI solution modules. And the reason for those is to be able to augment the data flow, interactions, and information coming from a customer as it's managed through the system that connects him or her to an agent at the contact center through a phone system. So on top, we see Velvettel, which is our telephony system that connects prospects and customers through a variety of media channels, such as voice, SMS, video instant messages, and activities on the website landing pages and forms. The data is captured and then fed into the platform to the activity management cloud. Eventually, all of the data is being augmented through the AI solutions. Then it's fed into the business decision or support systems like CRM, agent quality management system, dashboarding, and business analytics. As we look into the structure of our platform, at the application level, we have several seamlessly integrated software modules. All of these modules are available at the Creatio marketplace today. So let's have a closer look at each one of them. I'd like to start with our cloud phone system, Velvettel, which can be seamlessly integrated with Creatio for making inbound and outbound calls right from the CRM. With a convenient CTI panel, you can easily contact your customers and clients and just by a click of a button, dial the extension number, you can put call on hold, transfer, mute, and unmute. During the call, an agent can access all information about the contact, including the history of previous communications, it's essential to see that getting into the context promptly and carrying out a conversation in a more personalized manner is very important. Calls are a significant part of customer communications. That's why getting the maximum value from them is highly important. At the same time, for supporting a consistent customer engagement today, it's not enough. For this reason, you need to incorporate multiple types of communication tools like emails, live chat, SMS, WhatsApp, and others to ensure a consistent omnichannel customer experience. All these channels are available in Creatio. And the next task is to extract meaningful insights from all of these communications. Thus, let's us take a closer look into our AI-powered call analytics solution. Every conversation is a great set of data. Time to dial, call duration, each speaker time, conversation tone, word use frequency, agreements, and more. As I have shown on the diagram a few slides before, we extract this data and we feed it into the business decision or support systems. Call analytics and conversational intelligence help your agents become top performers, close more deals, and resolve more customer issues. This is achieved with help of the AI engine that analyzes every call and gives you insights on such moments as does the agent ask all of the right questions that you train them to ask during the conversation? Does the agent tell all of the right things that you wanted them to tell? All calls processed by agents are listed in the CRM with primary details, such as call direction and results. You can play the recording of the call, and you can transcribe the call. In some cases, a real-time speech-to-text transcription is needed, and that's what we can offer. The platform provides call transcripts with dialogue visualization, no matter whether it's real-time or post-call, and the speakers are color-coded, and the audio track is promptly divided. And in fact, the recording of the audio track is synchronized with the text data. For our convenience, you can download the recording, export the transcript, and you can copy it to the clipboard. One of the features you can benefit from is an agent scorecard. It actually monitors and scores agent script adherence based on the present criteria. All you need to do is to set up the panel with information and questions you want to have for your agents to ask. And the natural language processing does all of the rest automatically. Another essential functionality that helps get a real-time picture of your sales force performance is dashboards. Those who are familiar with Creatio, they know this module. It comes out the box and shows the number of calls today, average call duration, and the leaderboard for the top performers in terms of them working on the phone. Velvettel expands this functionality by using the artificial intelligence capabilities of our platform. You can track your marketing efficiency and have a view into top skills of your agents that are scored by the AI engine. So those skills that you train your agents for, that are found in the conversations, in the transcriptions that are made by our system, they are analyzed automatically. And the dashboard shows the relationship between the calls and the conversations that you have. Primarily, you can see what skills drive more deals. The next two modules are tailored to the setting of the highly efficient inbound and outbound call centers. Talking about an inbound call center, you need to focus on making your customers spend more time talking to your agents and less time staying on hold. Call queues management and routing, call agents availability, IVR menu settings, these are all the principal functionalities that you need to set up a queue quickly. But at the same time, they allow you to map out a customer journey and craft persuasive conversations. Ultimately, properly designed workflows boost the productivity of your contact center and improve the quality of customer interactions. When it comes to the outbound contact center, the agents often deal with the hundreds of calls daily. For example, it can be a telemarketing campaign where the agents have to perform at their utmost efficiency and make calls in a very timely manner. So every minute counts. And here our tool comes in handy. With the power dialer, you can make a vast number of outbound calls, one after another, without time wasted. Being integrated with Creatio, it provides a single interface to perform such actions as calling the customers, sending them follow-up emails, taking notes, tracking the disposition of every call, and scheduling activities. All this is accompanied with by the dynamic call scripts to help contact center agents stay on top of the conversation thread. Another feature to elevate the work of your agents is the knowledge base. With the knowledge base, you can publish different materials or information that you want your agents, while being on a call, to share with customers. They can also work to handle objections. As you can see, our platform offers plenty of tools to enhance your contact center performance while leveraging powerful technologies. According to your preferences and needs, you can customize the platform and its modules to personalize the benefits you get. So when customers discuss their challenges with us, we configure a vertical solution for them using the Lowcode platform and the built-in customization tools. This approach provides the best solution for our clients in the fastest delivery time possible. Again, if you'd like to explore the value of the contact center solution, you can find all of its modules available on the Creatio marketplace. We wanted to thank you all the participants for the questions that you asked during this session. And if you have any further questions, please feel free to contact us. We appreciate your interest in improving customer experience and look forward to speaking with you soon. Have a nice day.
All right. Thank you very much, Yuri, Artemy. As always, pleasure to hear you guys speaking about technology that you know so well. This really brings us to our next session, which is real-life no-code experience. We're joined today by our partner Optingo. So we have Wojciech Vonar joining us from Optingo, and Tomasz Chiborek, Group Sales Operation Director at Asseco. Wojciech, Thomas, I'll turn the floor over to you.
Hello, everyone. Welcome on the Accelerate event. My name is Wojciech Vonar from Optingo company. Optingo is specializing in CRM implementations. But more importantly, I'd like to introduce to you Mr. Tomasz Chiborek, our honorable guest for today. Tomasz is a Group Sales Operations Director at Asseco Southern Eastern Europe, a famous Polish company operating in many parts of the world. But I'd like Tomasz to tell you more about himself, his role, and his company. Tomasz?
Okay, thank you for the introduction. Hello, everybody. Yes, there's a few words about myself and the company. As Wojciech said, I'm responsible for the sales operations in the group's level. We have a pretty big organization and network in the area which we are focused on, which is Southeastern Europe. So we are one of the biggest IT companies in that region. But although the name didn't change from Southeastern Europe, we are also present in other regions. So at the moment, we are implementing own software solutions and services in the Balkan region, yes, but also Turkey, Spain, Portugal, Andorra, so Latin America, also Slovakia, Czechia, and in general, the Iberia Peninsula. So the company provides basically all types of ICT solutions, for various industries. Our strong, let's say, anchor is in the banking and payment sector, but we have also presence in the so-called system integration area. Since 2009, we are also listed on the stock market in Warsaw. We are publicly listed. We have around 3,000 people working in 23 countries. So in those countries, more than 10 out of 15 largest banks are our customers. But we're also part of a larger organization group, which is ASECO, based in Poland, which is operating in 5 continents, in 60 countries. Like basically, we're present everywhere, with over 29,000 people worldwide. Yes. So we are, let's say, part of the big ASECO with special focus in our portfolio and in our territory.
I have to say, Tomasz, that this is seriously impressive track record and the company. And of course, you know that everyone in Poland knows your company and your brand. This is really very known and popular company, the place to work for. So we are proud of working with you and for you during the implementations of the new CRM solution, which we're going to talk about. But before the new CRM, I'd like to ask you still about the core, I would say, organizational focus these days. We are seeing so many changes on the market in the last years, I would say, over the last 2 years. What is going on in your company right now? What you're working on from the organizational and business point of view?
Yes, well, it's really difficult question, and probably almost impossible to put it in a few words from my side. The reason is to answer this question, we need to take under the consideration the geographic diversity which we're operating in. So, like I said, Balkan region, Iberia, Africa, Latam. Yes, but also the specific character or situation of the countries, like their IT investment, their availability of competent resources locally. Yes, the digitalization level of the countries, the technology adoption. So in general, if I would say what type of market we have in front of us, as ASE, is that we are working with well-advanced countries like Iberia, Portugal and Spain, but also less developed countries. And in that case, I have a deja vu. Yes, when I was working in Poland 15 years ago, for example, where we were also focusing, our customers were focusing more on the core systems to provide the basic functionality that they need to manage their business, like ERPs, like core banking systems, financial systems and things like that. So this is the situation we have in some of the countries. And this is a very good experience, yes, of transferring our know-how, our experience, and our mistakes we made back then, and help the countries to transform, to go through the digital transformation, let's say, path. I think all of the countries, everybody is on top of this trend, and this can only ensure the competitive edge on the market of the companies, but also better customer experience, wider geography reach, and so on. Yes.
I have to say that from what you just described, working with such different countries is just an enormous challenge. So having the offer that addresses all those different needs on those different markets and the processes that supports that is not an easy job.
Yes.
And that takes me to the next question. And actually the context is very interesting because I guess our viewers can imagine that Optingo was involved in helping you implement the new CRM solution. And I'm mentioning that because actually I remember exactly 1 year ago when we were completing our negotiations for the implementation of the new CRM solution. Can you tell us more about the drivers? What took you to decide about replacing your CRM solution, because you had a CRM solution in the past, of course, as well.
Yeah. Yes. One of the drivers was, of course, the technology layer, because we were using a very old CRM, well-known brand, but old version of CRM. Yes, this is something which was, let's say, the spark to consider migrating to a new CRM, especially that the technology went very fast forward. And in Asseco, specifically, a CRM is basically let's call it second most important business management tool, yes, for the company, besides the financial system. So being a stock listed company, we have pretty strict obligations on reporting, on presenting our financial standing and the business outlook. Yes. So besides this and besides the technology aspect, we also needed a reliable tool to keep the pace with our fast growing and changing needs. So that is the reason for choosing a cloud and a flexible technology, which is underlined with no-code approach. Yes, but we have also a complex reporting process running throughout the organization. As you can probably imagine, due to the different cultures, mixture of companies that are, let's say, associated or part of ASE, this is a big challenge to have a common market approach, a common approach to the regulatory aspects, which are changing very often. So ASE invest into new areas. Also, we are pretty much into mergers and acquisitions of new companies, new technologies, but also organic growth. And this inspires constant change in our organization. We know exactly what we need from the business side. So we were looking for a solution that could accommodate that by as little development efforts as possible and open for easy adoption further and changes as we grow. With the legacy system, we had so many customizations that to change one element, we practically had to rewrite the code, yes, to just have a small change, yes. So we believe that our choice for Creatio covers the most important aspects of low-code system that can bring many advantages to the organization, but also giving a specific business application foundation like CRM in our case, and low-code, which allows us to do things faster, but also gives us the chance to grow and leverage on the investment.
Now that you have already an experience of, because we are already in production with a new solution, with a new no-code Creatio platform, how would you compare this working with Creatio low-code platform versus the previous system? You already touched upon this a bit in your comments, but maybe you already have some other observations, having worked already on the platform for a couple of weeks, right?
Yes. Well, it was easy and simple from one side, but during the whole process, during the whole project, yes, challenges appeared. Yes, From one side, I think something which worked in our favor is that we are an implementation partner and technology company for our customers. Yes, so we know what a project is all about. Yes, but still there are many approaches to this. Yes, so I see among our customers also where they are, trying to catch up with the digital transformation hype on the market, with the trends, and just to find temporary solutions that would, address their tactical and short-term gaps, or would keep them up to speed with competition and the trends. Yes. But what is very important, and I think we try to also convince our customers to, and ourselves, is to see this transformation as a strategic placement of technology solutions inside the organization to cover long-term initiatives. So not by silos, but end-to-end. Yes. And I think applying a no-code PPM and specifically here CRM approach, like we have from Creatio, we can easily focus more on business processes, on the customer needs, strategic decisions and directions of the company, consolidating the silos and adoption, and making sure that the adoption of the solution goes through the whole organization. And in the back, we have the technology, which is, just giving this opportunity, this challenge, this chance to live up to the challenge. Yes.
Talking about.
Yes. So just to wrap up very quickly, it's all about the mindset. Yes, and we of course have to work on the mindset, our own mindset. Yes, but also work on the mindset of our customers, so that they look at such implementations from the big picture perspective, not ad hoc needs and short-term benefits. Yes, it's all about helping your customer or your organization understand that you have to together take the journey, not just a hike or a walk around the corner. Yes, I think you as our implementation partner did a good job here. Yes.
Thank you, Tomasz. That's very important for us. And believe me, it was not easy in the beginning of the project, because we had also our own, I would say, questions and challenges working for you, such a prime company on the market, being basically a leader in the IT services and software production. It is not an easy, because you basically can judge us very well yourself. So that was a challenge, obviously. And the second part of that challenge was the complexity of your company. So you mentioned that already, so many countries, so many cultures, so many processes, CRM being the glue, one of the basic foundational processes in the company, so critical for the company. So that was really something that we were thinking a lot and discussed a lot internally before the beginning of the project. But with you, with your team, and your understanding of this, what needs to be done, that we done it together. So that was really a very interesting journey.
I really appreciate it. Also, we, as an effect of this implementation and your help, we are also benefiting in other areas. Yes, and this is very important because we have a more flexible and adaptable, let's say, solution. Yes, ready to grow with our organization. Simple to use and simple to expand. But also it's a relief for us to some extent that with this technology, no-code technology, we can practically also realign our resources. Yes. For example, now with Creatio solution, I can let's say ask or train our CRM business analyst, in a let's say in the low-code area, use the concept. Yes, and with some basic training and support, he himself or she, in this case, herself can start at least from simple, but then more complex procedures, processes to build on top of what we have. This is also considered as a development and empowerment of employees internally. So I see this platform also as a way to motivate the employees. So it's not a Pandora box only for coders, but business people can also have their say in the development of this solution. So last but not least, also a very big plus is the speed of go-to-market, which we have. I mean, if we would want to, let's say, improve what we had before, it wouldn't take a few months, it would take a few years probably.
It's absolutely amazing what you said, because this is the main promise of the low-code world to the businesses around the globe, and it's amazing that you're just basically confirming this promise, making happening, right, with a project like this. So that's great to hear, because we're also observing that with the other clients. But you're probably the best example of that, because this such a large project and the big complexity delivered in such a short time is just amazing. But with your understanding now of the low code, do you think that the low code will also change the way you approach your business and the business opportunities on your end? Do you think that this low code revolution is going to impact more businesses widely that you're working with?
Of course, and that's something like I mentioned. First thing, it will impact the adoption rate and let's say lower the barrier, technology barrier for employees. Yes, so basically more people from the business can be let's say engaged in developing the solution further. On top of that, right now, I'm more than happy to switch those developers or coders that we had up to now supporting our previous CRM solution to projects which bring revenue, which bring specific income for the company. Yes, so revenue driven activities, not a back office and back end for us. So yeah, it's pretty important to acknowledge that low code will be having a larger and larger footprint in the industry. This footprint will help, for example, companies like you and your company or us a company in taking the dialogue with the customer a step further, yes, or focusing more on the business aspects, on the strategies, on the procedures, processes inside, and optimizing them instead of focusing on okay, can we do it in the existing platform? What are the limitations? What do we have to do from scratch? And what can we do from out of the box or almost out of the box? Yes.
So this sounds like a real revolution we're experiencing, because this happens not every year, but now I believe, being on the market as you for some years already, we can actually confirm that this is really a revolution going on. We could probably continue this conversation for lots more time, but I guess our time is just about to be finished. So I want to thank you very much for your insights and sharing your experiences from implementation of the CRM low-code solution with us. I'd like to thank our viewers, and with this, I'd like to hand over back to Creation. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right. One success story right into another. We're going to start our next session. And today we're joined by the team at our partner Solutions Metrics. We're joined by Sebastian, Marc-Olivier, Fabian. We've got the whole team here. And they're going to be speaking with James Warren, Director of IT at Mediska. And letting you know how Mediska is increasing their efficiency with no code. So Solution Metrics team, take it away.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for being with us today. We're pleased to have one of our prestigious customer, Mediska, with us today, talking about the Lowcode. So we'll first go to a round of introduction. So I'm Sebastian. I'm one of the founder of Solution Metrics, a proud Cratio partner. Also, I have Marc-Olivier with us on this Zoom.
Yeah, hello everyone. Thanks for the introduction. I'm Marc-Olivier Bordeaux. I'm marketing manager at the Solutions Metrics. We're really happy to be here today for the Life Science Day with Cratio Accelerate. So hello everyone.
Great, thank you. And Fabien, you can introduce yourself.
Hi, so my name is Fabien. I'm working as a CRM consultant, product owner, and I'm leading the implementation of Cratio at Mediska. So yeah,
perfect.
That's it.
Thank you so much. And we're privileged to have James with us today. So James, if you can introduce yourself.
Sure, thanks a lot. I'm James. I've been working with Mediska as our director of IT for quite a few years now, and recently came on board with Solution Metrics and the team to put Cratio in at Mediska. Quite a big journey for us, and we look forward to talking about it.
Excellent. Thank you so much. So first, maybe we can start with some, what Mediska, their offer and what's the business first.
Sure, sounds good. So Mediska, we supply products to pharmacies, specifically compounding pharmacies. So it's a very important market in the world. It's pharmacists that tailor make medications for their customers' needs. So it's not big pharma, it's very niche, and because of that, we were looking for a niche product to help us, and it was a challenge in the past to find someone who could fit our needs perfectly.
Great. So maybe we can start by explaining what you're doing with the Cratio solution and how you use it internally.
Okay, you mentioned we just recently went live. We've been working on it now for a few weeks, a couple of months actually. And the main goal was to get everyone at Mediska into one system. So it was very fragmented. We had our main ERP system. We had our CRM, more of a contact manager. We have our production systems. So the day in the life of a Mediska sales rep or customer support agent was jumping all over the place throughout these systems. And we got to a point where we want to have our employees live in one system. And that would mean eliminating a bunch of inefficiencies, having everything at their fingertips, plus providing that customer 360, so making it better for our customer and our employee. That was what our main use case was. How do we get everyone into one system? And Cratio seemed to match that bill for us when we were looking.
Perfect. And if I remember well, there was also a big use case around order entry, right? So I think you have complex order entry.
Exactly. And that was one of the biggest challenges. We have an ERP system which is great at what it does for production planning, purchasing, very strong system, but it really wasn't geared towards the sales rep. So you could get an order in, but it didn't give you any of that customer data that we needed. And that's what the sales rep really needs. They don't care so much about production, they care about servicing the customer. And the challenge we had is how do we get that integration into a product? And it's a very niche ERP as well, which doesn't have integrations buying off the shelf. So we had to do an entire custom solution using Lowcode and other tools to get those two systems to talk. And that was probably the biggest part of the project in the beginning, was getting that step working.
Mm-hmm. Great. And talking about Lowcode, maybe we can talk about your experience with the Lowcode, and how we could fast track this implementation. You talk about complex stuff, and I know Fabien was your CRM specialist. I remember having few conversation about, okay, how are we gonna enable this with Lowcode? So yeah, I think it was leveraged in your project as well.
Exactly, and we're starting to get into it more and more now. So part of the integration was more into the nuts and bolts, maybe not so much low code. Now we're getting into those optimizations, which is what we're all looking forward to, the low code part of it, having email triggers, business processes, reassigning customers to different sales reps, all done with a business process low code, which we couldn't do in the past. It was all developer driven, wait for the developer to get to it. And that's the exciting part now, which I keep kind of bugging Fabien, like, oh, show me this, show me that. I want to see more and more. So we're looking forward to really getting into that low code, and we are just starting to leverage that power.
That's great. And from your experience, you've seen some so far on the low code. Creatio talks about citizen developer, or so where you don't need to actually be a developer to leverage the platform of Creatio, right? So what's your feedback on the local platform side of Creatio?
Sure. I've been kind of more of an observer, my developers, and kudos to you and your team, because you're my primary resource when I get stuck. Fabien, the team, they're the guys I kind of sit back and watch them do it. So from what I've seen and what I've done, it seems super simple. I mean, drag and drop, you put in a few conditions, it runs really well. It really has changed the way we think about projects.
Great. And in speaking about the low code, so you have the cells enable in your Creatio, as well as your inside sales with take order, right? So those are the two primary right now that are in Creatio, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct. So we'll have our inside sales force, our outside sales force. We're just onboarding our service department as well. Marketing is in there, but they're kind of working outside of our implementation, not as more critical as our core functions to launch. And it really has gone quite smooth. We did some tests globally as well. We have a market in Australia. We had them log into the system. Performance was great. Their outside reps tried it. Their inside reps tried it. We have inbound calls, outbound email. We're really using every part of Creatio right now.
That's great. And you also start using the inbound email flow as well, case creation, that piece as well. So really to build a 360-degree profile of the customer, not only integrating the ERP, but as well try to better serve your customer, right?
And that was a huge part we were missing, was that 360. When the customer had to rely on us to go into 7 different systems to serve them, we just weren't efficient. We weren't doing it. The reps had excuses why they couldn't do it. Now being in one system, you go to that account, you see all their activity. I love the timeline. You see everything in the timeline, sequential, put a few filters in, show me the emails, show me the calls. You can drive everything from that account page, create a call, create a ticket, a case, create an order. So it really has tied everything together, and we keep selling that 360 view as well. And we can't wait for our marketing to start leveraging some of that data. One of our next projects is a new website at Mediska, and we'll be embedding all the Creatio code required to track the customer's web activities, report on those insights. So the possibilities right now, I mean, we've got a list of 10, 20, 30 pages of things we want to do.
That's great. And talking about that, normally if you have to develop everything, this will take years, but I know by working together, we could go faster, right? Enabling, again, this low code approach where we can first share the work. So we'll coach you on how to do so. We'll do some, your team will do some as well. So, and from your developer, what their feedback on the low code? So how they are at ease they are with the platform right now after a few months?
Yeah, a lot of our first few months were spent really on that integration. We're just getting into the low code more and more. So from what we've seen so far, we really like it. It has simplified. I think a testament to when we look back and what we did from go launch till go live, in 3 months, we did something that typically I think would take 6 or 9 months. And maybe Fabien is more experienced on the Creatio side of launching projects. But we really fast tracked this implementation. And with great success. It's not like we put it in and there's big gaps. It really went well, and we were able to fast track it. I had a reference call earlier with another potential customer out in Vancouver, and I basically gave the same testimonial that we were able to do things in months that would normally take many, many months or potentially a year. It really helped accelerate it.
So was it clear for you from the beginning what your project was going to be like, from beginning to end, or was it the more you do, the kind of more opportunities come in and the more ideas? So you were saying you had like a 30 points that you want to achieve. So were those ideas already planned, or was it like by working with Fabien and implementing the platform, etc., that those many projects start to pop up left and right and more improvements coming up?
And that's a great point. I mean, that's we went in thinking one thing. Okay, we want to just take what we're doing and get it in there to make it work. But then all the offshoots of that were, oh well, we can do this, we can do this, oh we can do this and this, and we have to slow people down. We have some of our sales reps. Oh well, let's do this and this. Like right now, we got to just get to here, and we're going to keep going and going. Like everything we see, yes we can, yes we can, yes we can. We're saying yes to everything now, whereas in the past it wasn't so easy to say yes.
For sure.
Just a few words to complement that. It's as you've heard, it's a very complete project. It's a very exciting project. So it's just the beginning. We did the biggest part. James mentioned we mostly worked on that order entry. That was a pretty big one. There's, I don't know, tens of connection points. We're loading some tables live from a middleware server that we've been using as a middleman between Creatio and the ERP. It's a super connected both way integration, and the way we've been able to display those information to access it within Creatio has been great too. And even if some of those data is loaded through actual code and through that middleware, we can still edit the lists. So James can actually then format that data by himself. And he's actually the one who's been doing that, doing the list views, the details. So even if it's coded, the data is not even in Creatio for some of those aspects, because we really just display it live. It would be too heavy to load all the inventory, for example. So we just make it available in Creatio. But even then, we can go and rename the columns and play with the lists. So this has been giving a lot of flexibility and autonomy. Even for things that are custom, you can still, it's not even no code, it's even just configuring the tool. And that's been great.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to go back also from a previous question about the integration. So the integration is, there's a bunch of coding and we have great developers who've been doing an amazing job. Dimitro specifically, not to mention him, and from our team. Let's give credit to those who deserve them.
Not to mention names, but yeah, Dimitro, and you have another names too. Like,
that's the thing, right? People say that, no?
Yeah.
Just when you mention the person. And the way actually he kind of architectured the integration, we use Lowcode even there. So there are some coding, some scripts, but we actually use workflows. We use the business processes to process those records. So we're using API. Mediska is dropping all that data in tables. But then from those tables, it's actually processed using a workflow. So even if it's mostly coding, the workflow calls a script. It's a kind of a queue. It's calling scripts. So there's mostly code behind it, but still we can see that in the process logs. We can see how much time it takes if something fails. So even in the very custom coding integration, we have been trying to use as much low code as possible to give that visibility, that transparency on what's happening. So I think it's a good example of using low code, even when we do some pretty deep hard code customizations.
Absolutely. It's definitely a strong suit of Creatio to be able to process data and trigger stuff that where the sources is not even Creatio. So absolutely, it's good. And I know time goes fast. We're a few minutes away, but maybe we can talk about user adoption, because for us, integrators, it's customizing the tool is not necessarily the end victory. It's having great user adoption and making sure everyone's using the tool. So I think that's a great benefit of Lowcode as well, is as you're implementing, you can actually get feedback from the user and quickly react and adapt the software. So maybe we can talk about your experience with user adoption.
Sure. We did it in a phased approach, releasing into small groups as we went. I'm not going to lie, there's some users who are anti-change. Let's face it, regardless of the tool, It's just hard to convince some people to change. So we were prepared for that. We know those people, and you know how to handle that. But overall, the adoption's been is good. They understand it's not a 100% smooth process. It's a new tool, and the way we're releasing it in sprints, doing the agile, there's going to be issues week 1 that we'll fix in week 2. Week 2 there'll be issues in week 3. But we're at a point where that's getting less and less and less, and they see the progress, and they see that we're able to respond rapidly with the low code to make the changes they request. So they ask for something, in 2 weeks it's there. Something we promised, oh, it's there. And we're realistic. We know if we can't do something, talking to Fabien and the team, they know the product inside out. Guys, we really can't do it. It doesn't make sense as a business point, like the effort to do it's not worth it. So we're able to make those, we're able to explain it properly so the user does understand. It's not just like, oh, we can't do it. We're able to give them the details of why we can't do it. But user adoption, it's going really well. It's really well. So take out those outliers who just dislike all change, and we're in a good place right now.
Yeah, that's great. So you can test it. Cratio really helped us to and Meda to make you more efficient, right? So the efficiency has went to the roof, I imagine.
Yeah, we're on that track. We're early in our go live, so people are still learning where to find things, so not as quick as they're used to being. But we've merged 5 systems into one.
Mm-hmm.
So just by doing that, there's efficiencies right there. Our production system, our QA system, our voice system, our email, our order entry. So 5 into Cratio, our CRM, so maybe 6 if you're counting it just by default right there. We're break even, let's say. So now everything else is bonus from this point on.
That's great. That's great.
Something I would add about this is that I think there's a benefit that the users don't see because it's not on their daily life. It's not just doing what they were doing in these other systems, but it's the probably longer term benefits for the customers because they will receive a better, more personalized service because now they will see right away, I'm just entering an order, but I see that someone talked to my customer yesterday. I see there's an open case an hour ago, and I can now give that CRM experience. That's what personally, when I think about CRM, I think about the fact I'm calling my internet provider, and I want them to know that I called an hour earlier yesterday. And you cannot do that when you're entering an order in an ERP and using another system before to make a call because now it's all in the same place. So I think that's where that CX, that customer experience. And I think
having to repeat your same story to 3, 4, 5 persons, not having historic, happens too often still today.
Yeah. So I think that's not the. Correct me if I'm wrong, James. It's not the initial objective of the project, but I think that using that single tool would actually probably be able to make a difference and have, even better service to your customers.
Well, that's the goal, right? Is to really service the customer and seeing what they're interested in, see what they're looking at on the website. If they're interested in vet products, we target them with vet products and not with pain products. Like you're looking at vet, why would we bombard you with pain? So we can try and do it now by looking at BI and looking at order entry and but now you can just go right in one system. You'll see every email campaign they opened, every click they did, every website browsing they did. Those are definitely going to be the benefits on the global scale, not just the sales reps' day-to-day tasks.
Absolutely. Customer experience is the post-pandemic #1 priority for businesses right now. So
Seb, just for a second, I just wanted to mention something else. One of James's team member, she's been educating herself actually really well just using Cratio Academy. So I need to mention this because we barely had to do any onboarding with her. And actually one of my colleagues told me that she actually knows the platform now even almost better than him. So there's no onboarding to do. She really followed Cratio Academy the same way we get onboarded when we started working on the product. And she's been autonomous. For now, again, it's the beginning, but I think that was also something that's great. So we're going to do knowledge transfer. We're doing knowledge transfer with Mediska, because one of the objectives is for them to not rely on us all the time, but then being able to evolve themselves. Make the solution evolve by themselves. But I think this is a little cool success story because she's really barely asked us anything, and she's really just followed the trainings online and helping herself use the system. So that was a pretty cool experience.
Thank you.
I might want to go and learn the platform myself, maybe.
Great. So our time is up, but again, James, thank you so much for sharing with us today. And thank you, everyone. Thank you, Fabien. Thank you, Marc-Olivier.
Thank you, James.
Speak to you
No
soon.
problem, guys.
Perfect.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everyone. Have a
Bye,
great
guys.
day.
Bye-bye.
All right, another great session. Thank you very much, Sebastian and team. We're moving on to our next session. We're joined by Doug Gruber, who is a solution architect here at Creatio. And Doug will be walking through a demonstration of how to build better sales forecasts with no code. Doug, take it away.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the multi-sales model support in our Creatio system. We'll be showing you how you can use different methods in sales to take orders and inquiries with the Creatio platform. We're also going to cover some sales forecasting as well. My name is Doug Gruber, and I'm a senior architect here at Creatio, and my job is to help folks see our technology and understand how it applies to the world. So it's my pleasure to share with you this demo today. So let's talk about the scenario from a use case perspective that we're going to look at today. Imagine that there is a specialized retail company that focuses on high-end watches. These high-end watches cannot be bought on a website as they're highly customized for the individuals who buy them. They typically send an inquiry in through a website or an email or a call, a 1-800 number, to have a conversation with an agent. So most of what we'll be doing today is from the agent's perspective. The retail company uses consultations to talk with the customer about their specific needs, then refers them to a particular location nearby to them to actually go in and configure even more options and see the watch as hands-on and place their order. So that's the gist of the scenario for today. I'm actually signed into the Creatio system right now. We happen to be looking at the contact screen. But to start with today, we're going to start by me acting as an agent that's going to receive a call from an outside customer. And we're going to go through an inquiry and a consultation to set up an appointment at a location. So to get started with, I'm going to initiate an actual phone call, and it's going to pop up here on the top right of the screen as we get started. So let me go ahead and do that. Okay, so I muted the line so it doesn't cause problems with echo on the Zoom. But as you can see, we've identified the contact as someone we have in our system. Now, if we didn't have this person that just called in, Alexander Wilson, we would have been able to create a new contact and initiate the inquiry from that standpoint after creating contact. But since we do have Alexander Wilson in the system, we now have available to us the options available as a call agent to start a request. So we're going to create a new inquiry here. And when we do that, you'll notice that the information about Alexander Wilson is pre-populated from our system. As we look at this inquiry, you'll notice a few things. We have what we call a DCM, or dynamic case management. These are the chevrons that kind of go across the top of the screen. These are steps in the process we're going to take the customer through on this journey. We have immediately identifies a next step. We're going to deal with an appointment. We have the person's contact information, some information about how they prefer to be contacted. We have their address. we've pre-populated the agent to me today, which I'm signing in as John Best. So as part of the DCM, is the Dynamic Case Management System, we're going to be completing tasks along the way that we're going to not only complete, but we're going to keep track of and move it along the process. So we're going to move it to the appointment stage now. And by doing that, let me pull this up here. We're going to say that completed that and moving it to the appointment stage. And now we're going to identify a location and set the time of the appointment. So if we come over here and look at the store location, we're looking for a location near Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And we're going to go ahead and choose Alpha Shop here today. And, you know, there may be more than one store manager. So we're going to choose Jordan Anderson at the Alpha Shop. And we're going to go ahead and select the time and date of that appointment. So let's make it for Monday at, say, 10:30 a.m. We'll go ahead and save this. And now at this point, Creatio would have sent an email to that location, in particular that store manager, Jordan Anderson, and they would have received a notification that the customers come in. And so this is just one example using phone in terms of how to create an inquiry. So I'm going to hang up that phone call. And we're going to talk about a different way. One other way that we could deal with an inquiry is to use our consultation panel. Now, the consultation panel could be used to quickly get to a contact as well. And so it's right here. And we're able to identify using different types of numbers, whether it's their name or ID or whatever, the person in the system. And again, if they're not in here, we can create a new one. So we could type in Wilson and do a search for them. And here's some information about them. And again, we're going to start a consultation. It's going to go ahead and pull up Alexander Wilson's information here from his contact record. And you'll see that I have the option to create a service case or, again, do an inquiry. So again, if I click inquiry, it's going to copy that information in here and start that inquiry process all over again. So this is another way of being able to go ahead and initiate an inquiry. Now, there's a third way that I'm going to briefly show you as well. And that's to go ahead and look at queues. So there's a message over here, a menuing system over here called Agent Desktop. And so what's happening here is if we get emails, for example, that are coming in, those emails go to a specific email address, and then they show up in the Agent Desktop, and someone can go ahead and open that inquiry up. And again, they would be launched in the same process of going ahead and filling out that data information. So what we're trying to show here today is a number of different ways that an inquiry that leads to an order can be done from a sales point of view through different types of channels. Now, if we go back to the inquiries and we actually pull up one of those inquiries, we'll be able to actually, if we're allowed to do an order, remember in this use case, the specialized watches, they typically go in person, but maybe they need a repair done, or they need, you know, a new watch band clip or something like that. We could also do orders from within the actual inquiry. And then we'll look at that in a sec. Before I click on that though, I want to look at this concept called folders. Folders are allowing you to create a segregated list of, in this case, inquiries. These folders are available in Creatio through almost any type of record you want. So you could do with this with inquiries, with contacts, with accounts, with cases, etc. And these are dynamic cases that allow you then to sort and group in the inquiries by specific types. So here are the ones that are completed, for example. And here are the new ones that just came in. So folders are very powerful and able to get to your data quickly. You can also do things like adding filters on the fly, where you can say, I want to search for a particular inquiry by date or time or contact or phone number or whatever the scenario might be. That allows you to also quickly jump to the particular inquiry for the contact you want. Now, if we look at this inquiry again, I mentioned to you that there are some cases where you want to be able to do orders on the fly for the smaller things. And so if you click here, you'll see in the orders area that we can actually create an order. Again, the fields on here, the layout on here are completely configurable with the Creatio platform. That's one of the beauties of the no-code infrastructure, being able to lay out how you want your orders to look. And you can obviously select products. Let me fill the customer in first. You can select products and it will pre-populate based on the product catalog, the amounts, etc. You can have any number of details about the order in terms of how you're going to deliver it, for example, any history with the order and any approvals if need be. So our ordering capability allows you to have the process for your order set up and configured exactly the way you want. Okay, so we're going to cancel out of that at this point. And I'm going to also point you to this section called application processing. So application processing is typically done at the store. We could take an application as well now. The application is actually a credit application to allow someone to fill out information to get them pre-approved for a credit line beforehand. So that's also something, you know, just clicking plus here, you could fill out an application for credit and move it along. As most of you probably know, that if you had experience with Creatio, we have this ability to have instant next steps that you can add. And so this is pretty convenient, actually. Perhaps I want to call the customer back right away. So I click the phone here and I can say, who do I want to talk to? I can say Alexander Wilson. We could also default that, and we're going to do an outgoing call. And we can actually not only keep notes about what we're talking about, but actually, as we showed earlier, actually do the phone call and log that as a transaction. The next one is maybe you want to do an email. So you can email from within here as well. Email details about their appointment. That could be done automatically, or specifically have a question for the customer, you can email them. Of course, the reason you would do that from within Creatio is because it allows you to track those emails as part of the record and the timeline with the particular inquiry for that customer. We also have the ability to do chats of different sorts, whether it's Facebook, WhatsApp, different chats built into the system. And again, you could chat with the customer through those omni channels if the customer would like to do that. And we can also do instant ad hoc tasks where we allow you to create a task, maybe for yourself. It's a special use case. It's not typically done as a part of the normal process, but I want to create a task with the date and time, and maybe I want to assign it to myself or someone else. One of the things that's really nice is it automatically going to link this task to this inquiry so that they're nicely linked together and can get back and forth between the task and the inquiry. You can also link it to other objects such as the contact if you'd like. So these sorts of things are a normal part of what you're going to see inside the context of a Creatio-based application. Let's move on a little bit and talk a little bit about dashboards. So we have these highly visual dashboards available. These are very easily configured in our no-code platform. It allows you to see, for me as an agent, how many inquiries I've dealt with this month or this quarter so far, for the year. Again, you can configure these any way you want. We can look at them in particular dates and also what the status is for those dates. You know, as we assign our inquiries to location, we can keep track of how many of them are at a specific location and what's the status of them. So we also have metrics about the store managers. So, you know, have they received any feedback from the customer? So we can do sentiment analysis as well. And also the percentage of the store managers that we referred business to. So we can see the percentage that we have sent to them. So all sorts of really nice charts and graphs that allow us to reflect on the metrics that we're performing as an agent. Okay, so I'm going to actually switch roles now for a second and talk about the call center manager. Excuse me. So the call center manager, he's also very interested in dashboards. So he's going to have dashboards by state, region, location, etc. He's also interested perhaps in some of the metrics about the calls themselves. What's our average time to answer the phone? What's our number of calls by agents? What's our average handling time to answer a phone in a particular center and by agent? What's the, you know, you might have information about orders. How much dollar volume have we done from an order or pending order at a particular roll up for all of my agents or for a particular location as such. So we can look at, you know, for example, the number of orders by state and where did those come in from? Were they called in? Did someone walk in off the street? I can say, you know, look at my case information by month, the inquiries by month, etc. So it's very flexible in terms, again, of those dashboards. Another topic I wanted to talk about, as I stated at the beginning here, was to talk about forecasts. Forecasts, of course, are very important in all forms of sales. And Creatio allows you to create custom forecasts. And you can have them segregated here. I have a forecast by customer and forecast by territory. It allows me to quickly group them by, these are watch stores here, where I can specify the expected dollar amounts, the actuals, and the percentages. You know, from the expected standpoint, I can just go in here and enter a particular amount. For the actuals, I can actually have them calculated from the system based on the criteria I want, you know, from the opportunities, what step or stage they're in, when were they closed, what's the date range that fits into the particular month that we care about. Very easy to configure those. If I look at forecasts by territories, for example, I can actually look at the sales by particular person, agent, or store manager if I wanted to. I can do it quarterly. Now, in this particular case, the best case and worst case are not calculated based on where they are in the process. I'm allowed to actually enter in what I believe is going to happen. So I can override the actual with what my gut feel is as a manager, for example. This type of forecasting allows both actual then and overrides, which is really great when it comes to sales forecasting. As my time is wrapping up, I have a couple of questions I wanted to answer here. These have come in. One of the questions is, how often does the platform get updated after it's launched? So Cratio does point releases every 6 to 8 weeks. These releases are processed by our support team for our cloud SaaS customers automatically. If you have a private cloud or an on-premise cloud deployment, the software is made available from our website and can be downloaded manually for install. The next question is, can no-code platforms improve sales reps productivity? If so, and how? And my answer to that would be, no-code platforms allow for the CRM to be configured specifically to match the sales process for your organization. You don't have to change your sales process to match Cratio. You configure Cratio to match yours instead. And the leads that the sales reps help get the buy-in to using the platform as they interact with the leads, the pipelines, the opportunities, and the forecast. It's actually very simple for the sales reps to use, and it can be configured very specifically to the type of sale and the types of sales folks you have. And does Cratio provide version control for dynamic cases? Yes, Cratio provides versioning for our dynamic case management, as well as our ability to do separate dynamic cases based on data types and data collected for each case. So I want to thank everybody for coming to the demonstration today. I hope you got some information that helped or benefited you in terms of the different types of sales use cases that we at Cratio can do. Thanks again for coming. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Doug. And that's bringing us into our next session, guys. I see my esteemed panel of colleagues joining. Bumil, Jacob, how are you?
Hi. Very well, Eric. How about yourself?
I'm doing very well. Thank you. Thank you. So we're just waiting on Yuri, but I'll introduce the segment here, guys. So we're going to be discussing how we can empower sales team with technology that's going to help them achieve operational excellence and help them achieve their goals as well. Yuri, how are you?
Doing well, thanks.
All right,
you guys.
Hey, great to see you as well. You're a busy man on this event today, Yuri. So I just took myself stopped sharing my screen so we can all fit on the on the screen together. So in reference to our topic today, guys, we all know that as sales teams are building their strategies and they're trying to adapt to different trends and disruptions within the market or within their geopolitical or location trends, they were always having to be adapting and overcoming and agile enough to change our business models to the changing environments that we're in. So one of the questions that I wanted to pose to you guys is what trends over the last let's say 2 years have you seen that's been hitting sales organizations, and what effect has it had on them to achieve their goals? I'll throw that out there to anyone. Anybody can jump in.
First thing I would like to mention is the artificial intelligence. It changes the landscape.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if we're not leveraging artificial intelligence, we're behind the 8 ball at this point, as they say.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so there has been a paradigm shift, so to say, in terms of sales operations, right? I mean, the sales reps went from living out of a suitcase to 100% digital, and once the regulations started easing up, they again went back to that gray area where they're now operating in a hybrid model where it's part online and part in person. So it has significantly impacted the way the sales operations take place in this day and age. And quite frankly, I mean, I see a lot of brands and enterprises actually embracing this change in a positive fashion, and they actually think that it's a little more efficient in that sense. Now that the sales reps aren't really traveling and they're not spending too much time, they can actually focus more on generating revenue and getting that output from their teams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a great point. Jacob, what are your thoughts in this area?
Well, on our side, I would say that also the Corona crisis, as just mentioned, really changed the things, as it made people realize that digital transformation is something needed by the companies and enterprises and businesses. And it's just not a fashion, but it's like a logical evolution of the way that our society is currently working. And they were forced to adapt the strategy. They were forced to adapt the way they are doing businesses. It was quite brutal here. I mean, especially in Switzerland. I mean, we are not like front runners. We are not. I mean, like taking the first trend. Usually, we are more like looking what's happening in USA, more looking what's happening in France, and etc. And once everybody had done their own experiences and sometimes made some mistakes, then we adapt the trend. But 2 years ago, we didn't have the opportunity to observe. We had just had to jump into the situation, and then to adapt also about sales and long distance sales and without any contact. So that's it.
Yeah, that's definitely it's something that had been there, but I think the pandemic had accelerated that, right? Like it brought that strategy and that roadmap that a company or a sales organization might have had and condensed that to a very short period of time. One other thing that I would say was a trend that we've noticed over the last couple of years is that we've got changing, buyer expectations, right? The customers that we're selling to today are not the same customers that we were selling to 10 years ago. To your point, Bumil, like, we're not operating out of a briefcase anymore, and knocking on doors. We are, our customers and buying behaviors have changed. The customers are now more informed. They have access to information. They can get educated even before speaking, to a salesperson. So, it's almost like from a sales organization, we have to adapt and guide, our prospects and potential customers, through the process, because there's just so much access to information now. Customers are probably 70% of their buying decision has already been made even before they talk to somebody, right? So it's something that we have to adapt to. And Yuri, you had mentioned, right at the beginning, artificial intelligence, right? That's one technology that's going to help, sales organizations really foster operational excellence within their organizations. But I would also throw out there, what other technologies are you guys seeing? You guys are living in this world, right? What technologies are you seeing that are helping organizations become more efficient in the way that they operate?
Well, there are a lot of things that we see in practice. A lot of tools are converging and provide the ability for the sales operation to mine data more efficiently, match it to leads, enhance the information that will help them to score those leads properly. So you can see those powerful tools at any level of your sales cycle, from lead uncovering to like your pitch that is developed in the very collaborative way, using a lot of interaction, very heavy interaction between the teammates, especially when they work on the large deals. And we see a lot of automation happening in the back end for all these operations. Probably 40% of those things have been already automated. And the prediction is that it will reach 60, up to 60, maybe 70% of the routine things to be automated to free up time for nurturing leads or doing the meaningful conversation on those touch-ups that you make with your prospects or customers in the life cycle, upsell and cross-sell type activities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We've heard that that theme throughout our Accelerate event here, or even a term, hyper automation, right? How do we automate and make that process easier so that sales professionals can focus on what they do best, and that's selling.
My friend sent me a meme yesterday on Facebook, which says UPS is saying your package is in your city and the truck is driven by Mike. It will arrive at your doorstep at 6 p.m. FedEx is saying, your package is coming. You'll get it when I get there. UPS is saying, what package? Amazon is saying, we're already inside your apartment. Check the bathroom. And now the cherry on the ice, Facebook is saying, we know you were thinking about getting a toaster yesterday. Here is my top 10 or 20 ads about the toaster oven for you to consider. So you can see what's happening in the marketplace and what the consumers are getting used to as far as being informed, being anticipating better understanding of their intent, and also matched it with the best option that is easier to digest for the consumer with less information, less variations, again, thanks to the technology that makes a perfect personalization all the way.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good analogy as well. I always like that, and we're being spoiled as well, right? Like that's changing consumer behavior. We expect that out of every interaction that we have now, right? We expect that level of personalization, and if sales organizations aren't able to kind of map that, you're going to fall behind your competitors. And that leads me into kind of a second topic here, guys, is as we see this blending of organizations, that's marketing with sales, all the way through service. We have these complex customer journeys now that these teams need to be working together as a cohesive unit. So whether that's sales getting involved in developing marketing content, helping to better qualify leads, what can technology do to help bridge that gap between organizations and ensure that everybody is moving forward with that one goal in mind. I know that at Creatio we look at everything in that way, right? How do we bring everything together? What are you guys seeing? Bumil, Jacob, what are you guys seeing in terms of technology that will help bring everybody together?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Let's go.
No, that's okay. Go ahead.
In terms of technology, I mean, like for me, I just would like to maybe to emphasize about what you're saying before about that the customer often knows a lot about the product he's going, or the service he's going to purchase or to ask information about. And for me, it's really about how a platform like Creatio could help people to the sales teams and also the marketing teams to collaborate and also to share the information to end the silos that quite often happen in big enterprises, to share the enterprise and not to fall in the gap to give some information that the consumer could already have. So for me, that would be one of the main points.
Absolutely.
And to your point, Eric, I mean, it's funny that you bring this up because just yesterday I was reading this article from Boston Consulting, and they were, speaking about how the dynamics of the sales, marketing, and service has changed, and they strongly believe that in the future, marketing, sales, and services will have to work as one cohesive unit, like you rightly put. So. I mean, just a small example, for instance, if the marketing department decides to invest a large amount of their budgets on one particular campaign, then the sales team also needs to have that information. They need to be on the same platform, on the same level as the marketing team to understand that there is going to be a sizable amount of traffic coming their way, and they can channel their efforts towards increasing the revenue as the leads come in. So that I think that we should embrace the technology where sales, service, marketing can coexist on one platform in a unified manner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would agree. Oh, go ahead, Yuri.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to this that we see a lot of integration between sales and marketing. And when they converge, it results in the shorter sales cycle. So we really accelerate our sales cycle, and we spend less time of like different duties instead of just doing the selling. I like when during the marketing, we can score our leads, and then it goes directly to the most or best suitable sales representative, fully automated routing that occurs. And when we have answers included into our marketing that sales team generated, it basically shortens the decision-making process for the customer. They see exactly the answers embedded into the marketing material, and they can pick and choose the solution that is most suitable for their needs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And again, yeah, I think that those efforts really need to be coordinated, and you start to see, well, in my role as an enablement director, right, that is, one of my, key targets is to align everybody, right? Align marketing, align sales, all the way to how we service our customers, and then how do we operationalize it. So, again, that coordinated effort really needs to be, managed closely. So that leads me to another question, guys. So as we, move more and more, it's funny when I say this, because I, as a sales professional, I've worked from home for 20 plus years, right? It's either I'm on a plane traveling to a customer, or I've worked out of my home. But as we're moving into more of a work from anywhere type of scenario, sales teams in particular, when they're spread out and they're diverse, we need to ensure that they're remaining productive. And when we look at remote sales teams, how do you feel technology can help them still remain productive while not being in the office, in a boardroom, everybody trying to meet? How can we still remain productive though our sales teams are kind of spread out?
That's a great point. I remember few years ago, Salesforce made a report that only 30% or 35% of the time of the sales rep is spent on actual selling. Everything else were other duties. So the more we can do in meaningful automation to reduce the time that sales reps and their management spend in some sort of data entry or research or in grooming the records type activities, the more they have time to nurture the leads and make the meaningful conversation with the prospect or customer. So I'd like to say that when you enable a platform like Lowcode Creatio gives you and your sales team, you get such a tool set that can be used to solve this problem right there.
Right.
Absolutely. I think to Yuri's point, there are a lot of these ancillary activities which we call sales operations that don't really account for the actual selling in that sense. For instance, rudimentary things like generating a quote or coming up with reports for your management and things like that. I mean, ideally that shouldn't take too long, but it actually eats into your time and you lose your productivity. So if we embrace technology and have that automated, then I think that leaves out quite a significant chunk where you can focus on bringing in the revenue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, ask your team member, dear customer or partner, how much of the follow-up is being automated in your sales organization. So when you do that in a platform like Creatio, you see the results immediately, and this is very powerful strategy to employ.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, well, guys, I'm getting the wrap-up sign. That went by quick. This is a good discussion. You know, I feel every time at the end of the day, I feel like we need another, you know, at least 15, 20 minutes to continue the discussion. But I think this has been, you know, very insightful on ways to, you know, again, how do we remain productive? How do we achieve, you know, operational excellence? And I think, you know, we had some key themes there, you know, automation, personalization, and you know, tools that are going to allow sales teams to focus on revenue generating activities versus administrative. So you know, we know that there's a whole host of tools out there for it. You know, we know that here at Creatio, that's what we're trying to bring into a single platform. So Bumil, Yuri, Jacob, it's been a great conversation. Like I said, we'll have to have another one so we can have a part 2 of this.
Absolutely.
All right,
Thank you, everyone.
gentlemen. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Okay. So that brings us to the end of our day, guys, and hopefully you've been able to garner some key insights onto how to improve, you know, sales operations. Tomorrow we're going. Well, it won't be tomorrow. Day 10, I should say. We are on Friday. Day 10. So our next day will be focused on service. So we'll be having again some key sessions surrounding thought leadership. We'll have a fireside chat. No-code spotlight again, so we'll be able to see, you know, a nice demonstration of how no-code tools can help with service automation. We'll have a practical speech and another digital circle. So be sure to tune in for day 10 of our Accelerate No-Code Revolution. And as always, just wanted to remind everybody about our product release, which we're calling our Freedom Release. So our new version will be launched on February 8th. And it's going to be an exciting event that's going to show you probably one of the biggest updates on the Creatio platform. So come out to our website, register for the event, and you know, it promises to be exciting. Thank you very much for attending today, and we will see you on our next session.